Annyeongidera, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cart Podcast with me, Sim, where I talk about Korean entertainment and the things I love about it. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the charms of Korean TV, or the meljok. So, if my Korean is wrong for the title of this episode, I'm really sorry, but, my Korean is not fluent. But the title is 한국 TV의 매력. So, when I first got into kdramas and shows, there were a number of things I instantly loved about them. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I start talking about them, I just wanted you guys to know that I discovered a new Korean artist, and her name is Rio. So she put out a song called The Rose Song, and it came up on my YouTube feed, and it's from an OST for the drama Nevertheless, and I haven't seen Nevertheless, but the artist Rio, I think she does 2 songs in the drama, maybe more, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but her songs are really, really nice. So if you want to check her out, I highly suggest you do, because she's got a great voice. So yeah, straight into this episode. So in Korean dramas, there are a number of things that I noticed. Number 1, the aesthetics. The scenery and the houses, I think, are also cute and pretty, and it's so different to something that I'd see in the UK, which is probably why I love the scenery a lot. Like, the cafes they have there, I think probably in the Seoul area, are really, really pretty. And the one thing I love about Korea is that they have common rooftop rooms, or an uktakbang. I've forgotten the rooftop, but yeah, uktakbang or something like that. And they decorate the outside of the roof area, the flat area, with like plants and lights. And when they invite friends round, they can have samgyeopsal and a barbecue, and that is so aesthetic for me, and it's something that I would love to do with my friends sometime. But obviously I can't do that here. But yeah, I have a thing for rooftop rooms in Korea. They look so cute. Like when you look out into the distance on a rooftop, it's so pretty and cute. I was about to put pretty and cute together and say prute. But anyway, it's really cute and pretty, and it's something that is also very calming and pretty for me as well, quite aesthetic. For example, in the drama When the Devil Calls Your Name, the female lead, she has, I think she's the one that's staying in the rooftop room, and there's like plants and lights outside of her room, and I find that really cute. I've said cute like 1,000 times already. Anyway, so another thing about aesthetics is when there's a rich character, like a wealthy character, the houses and the decor they have are really interesting, and the decor and the way the house is planned out is very different and unique, which is what I really love. They put a lot of attention to detail into the house to make it look wealthy. For example, the author's house in Chicago Typewriter, his house looked very, very, very nice. The one thing I noticed about like Korean rooms as well, that they're really, the way they're like laid out, like generally, like I'm saying like 1,000 times now. Anyway, for example, they would have like a cute like upper bedding area with like stairs that go up in the same room. There's a name for this, but I can't remember the name because I've got a friend who lives in one of these type of rooms, and it's not common here in the UK, but the way they plan out their room in Korea is very nice as well. And also the shelving and the desks they have are really they're quite practical. So that's the one thing I like about the decor in Korean homes as well. Another thing is when there's, say, a romantic scene, and they make the scenery behind look really aesthetic as well. Like the camera angle when there's like a kissing scene is really good. For example, in Pinocchio, when the 2 main leads kiss for the first time, the scenery around them looks really magical as well. That's the one thing that I think they do really well as well. Another thing I noticed about Korean dramas is their research into the characters' roles. For example, say there was a medical or a crime drama, I think they really do their research and maintain that attention to detail in terms of the career of the character. And it's really interesting for me sometimes that for example, when I watch a medical drama, they always, when the character's speaking about something medical, there would always be a caption at the bottom to explain it. And I think that's really cool. Like, that's something that I would never really see in Western dramas. But the fact that they do this is actually quite knowledgeable and helps the audience learn new things as well. An example of this is some medical dramas that I've seen: Doctor Romantic 1 and 2, The Doctors, Doctor Stranger, and a lot more. The one doctor medical drama I haven't seen yet is Hospital Playlist, but I keep seeing it everywhere, and I think there's a Hospital Playlist too now. But it's a drama that it's on my list to watch. Also, in crime dramas, they do their research on how to portray the roles. One thing Koreans love to do in crime dramas as well is make the person who they're the suspect into a real like psychopath. They make him look really like out of this world and inhumane, which is really good. A good crime drama that I recommend is The Voice, and I think there's The Voice 1, 2 and 3, and The Voice 4 is coming out soon, so that's a good one. There's also ones like Black, and there's another one that I'm trying to think of, but I can't remember. Signal, and also Tunnel. Those are really good dramas. When I started watching Korean dramas, the one thing that really opened up my mind was the interesting career choices they had for the characters. And I didn't really think outside of the box when it came to career choice for myself, and it's really cool to see that the characters had really quirky jobs that I would have never thought of, and it's something that you don't really see in Western dramas as well. So there's always like the usual dramas which have like the chaebol son and the businessman, the doctor, the teacher, the police officers. Those are like the general type of career choices you'd see in dramas, and especially ones where there's like a certain type of company and there's people working under a company. For example, in Hello Me, the employers work in a snacking company. The diversity of job roles is something that is really interesting to me. For example, in the drama My ID is Gangnam Beauty, the female lead, she studies chemistry at university because she wants to become a perfumer. And that is something that I didn't really think about in relation to chemistry, so that was pretty cool as well. Another one, in the drama Search WWW, the story revolves around people who work for these two big website portal companies, and the main lead is the director. Another drama, Startup, the story revolves around startup businesses and how they're trying to basically make their business succeed when it comes to business. Another career which is quite niche and unique to South Korea is a webtoon creator. And webtoons are really popular in Korea, and it's something that is amazing to be a part of, because a lot of webtoons these days are becoming dramas as well, which is really great. And I think you would have to have extraordinary skills to become a webtoon artist, because you have to have great art skills and be good at telling the story you want to tell through this. And that's something that I really like about Korea as well. For example, in School 2017, the female lead wants to become a webtoon artist as well. Generally, there are a lot of tech jobs when it comes to South Korean dramas as well, which is really cool. For example, AI dramas are a big thing as well these days. In Memories of Alhambra, we have the male lead going after a type of technology which allows a person to play a game through contact lenses. And also there's My Hollow Love, and also another drama that I've just thought of as well. It's a bit of a melodrama. It's called A Piece of Your Mind, and the female lead, portrayed by Choi Soo-bin, is a classical music engineer. And also in Do You Like Brahms, the characters' jobs revolve around classical music, particularly stringed instruments. There's one of the characters who owns a strings workshop where he repairs, mends and fixes these instruments, which is something that is quite unique. Another thing I realised about South Korea is that there's a big thing about news anchors becoming almost like a celebrity. First of all, it's obviously, I can tell it's really difficult to become a news anchor because there's only a set number of news stations there are. And when you become a news anchor, you have to have the proper looks and your pronunciation has to be great as well. And I noticed in a lot of these news anchor Korean dramas that the way they practice their pronunciation is where they put a pencil in their mouth and try and speak through the pencil. So that's something I never really thought about to be a big thing in the UK, but it is in Korea. So yeah, if you're stuck on what career to have in your life, you can unofficially research it by watching a load of K-dramas because they have some good ideas, and it opened up my mind a lot. Another thing I like about Korean dramas is when sometimes when I watch a drama, there is another drama that's playing inside that drama, and I find this really unique and cute as well. For example, I finished watching Doom at Your Service, and while I was watching that, the main character was watching, and before I watched this drama as well, I was watching Tale of the Nine-Tailed, and while I was watching Doom at Your Service, the female lead was watching Tale of the Nine-Tailed on TV as well. So that's something that I really like about dramas. They also do like little skits of other dramas within their dramas. For example, the OST of another drama would play and they do a little skit, and that makes it really funny. And one thing I realised as well is the more you watch K-dramas, the more you understand these little jokes that come from Korean dramas compared to only if you watched one. I realised as well that Korean dramas, they have like a little small dramas, like they're called like web dramas, which are like 10 minutes long per episode, and it's something that obviously isn't common again here, but it's something that I think they do really well in Korea. And this leads on to my next point about generally Korean variety shows, because generally both shows and dramas, they do more of a web series for these things as well, and which are not really aired on TV. For example, there's Jesse's Show to View, and also Jong-sik from Jesse's Show to View is also doing his own show as well. There are many of these type of shows that people do on the internet that is not really that big of a thing here in the UK, but it is in Korea, and they've done a good job of it as well. But yeah, one of my favourite shows on the internet is Jesse's Show to View, and also Jong-sik's show. I did watch a little web show as well by Sunmi, and it's called Sunmi's Real World, and it's on the channel Mulpli, and she also included her brothers in this as well, which I found very interesting and funny, and it was great to watch. But generally, Korean variety shows, one thing I have to say about variety shows is, why are they not a thing in the UK? Because honestly, I love Korean variety shows. They make you laugh, and they do things so differently, and the game shows they have in their shows is something that looks so fun and interesting, and obviously a bit tiring too. I've mentioned this before, but some of my favourite shows are shows such as Running Man, 2 Days and 1 Night, Master in the House. There's also different types of variety shows out there as well that I haven't really seen. There's just a lot, and so yeah, they're amazing. I don't understand why they don't exist in the UK. Also, personally, I would love to be in a show like 2 Days and 1 Night. Like, it's so cool to have them travel around and obviously sleeping in very scary places and doing games for food. I think that's so cool. So yeah, if anyone is listening to this who works for a Korean style TV show and thinks that I would make a great fit to go travelling around in Korea and shoot some shows and play some games, hit me up, because I'm all up for an adventure, you know. I love shows like that. Like, if there was a show like 2 Days and 1 Night for foreigners, then hit me up, because yeah, that would be so cool. I'm all up for an adventure. I think one thing that Korean variety shows do well is, if you're having a bad day and you need something to cheer you up, I highly suggest you watch a couple of episodes of a Korean variety show, because they will make you laugh straight away. Like, one of my favourite shows is New Journey to the West, so watch a couple of episodes of that if you're feeling a bit down. So what are your guys' favourite Korean TV shows, and what are some of the things that you like about Korean TV as well? So I'm going to finish off with something that I watched in one of the recent episodes of Master in the House. It's probably not that recent now that the day I'm recording it, but there was the master called Lee Jang-hee, and he's a singer-songwriter who has been active for quite a while, and he basically was showing the others around his place, which he calls paradise, and he said 3 things that are paradise to him are friends, nature, and music. So 친구, 자연, and 음악. And this made me think as well, like, what would be my paradise? And so I was just thinking, I think my 3 things in paradise would probably be the same, because I love music so much. I have such a wide music taste, and if I had the chance to make my own music, I would love to do that as well, even though it's probably rubbish, but I don't know, it seems pretty cool. Nature. These days, I really love going on hikes and walking around and just breathing in the fresh air and seeing all the flowers. So I really wish there were more mountains near me that I could just hike up whenever I'm feeling a bit out of it. And also friends. Having great friends is also amazing, because you can have such great conversations with them. And I'm the sort of person who loves being a friend and talking about deep things rather than just light stuff. Like, I'm not one who likes small talk a lot. I like things which are more deep and conversational. So yeah, that's something that I really like as well. And what would your 3 things in paradise be as well? Thanks for listening to this episode. I really hope you enjoyed me rant on about some of the 매력 of Korean dramas and shows. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify and Apple and Anchor. Be sure to check out Instagram at Cart Podcast, where you'll get updates on new releases and just things that I'm watching and listening to as well. You can also leave your thoughts and suggestions as well on YouTube and Instagram on what you're listening and watching and what you think of these episodes. So I'll see you next time. 이따 봬요.